Hello, I'm Susie. I'm a student in the Elementary Education Master's Program at Grand Canyon University. In this presentation, I'll be exploring ways to boost motivation and engagement in the classroom. Thank you for being here with me. Let's start off with exploring the different types of motivation in the classroom. Motivation can manifest itself in various forms, and it can be classified into two main categories: extrinsic and intrinsic. Let's take a moment to examine each of these types of motivation and how they can be effectively applied in our classroom settings. Understanding extrinsic motivation. The first type of motivation we'll be exploring is extrinsic motivation. This type of motivation originates from external factors rather than from internal ones. External motivators can be in the form of both positive and negative reinforcement. Positive extrinsic motivators, such as candy, tickets, prizes, stickers, smiley faces on papers, and then some negative extrinsic motivators would take the form of loss of a recess, deduction in points on an assignment, or having to sit out of a fun activity. While extrinsic motivation can be effective for short term goals, some evidence suggests that relying on these external rewards may not maintain motivation over the long run. Understanding intrinsic motivation in students. Another type of motivation I'd like to explore is intrinsic motivation. This motivation stems from within the student. It is the internal drive to engage in an activity because of a personal desire rather than an obligation. In this case, the act itself becomes the reward. For instance, a student who is captivated by space may feel inspired to delve deeper into the subject due to their fascination. Similarly, a student with a profound love for music may consistently seek opportunities to play. This passion for learning is the kind of motivation we aspire to cultivate in our students. We can nurture this by getting to know our students better and integrating their interests into our lessons. Understanding the connection between engagement and motivation. To grasp the link between engagement and motivation, envision motivation as the fuel for engagement's engine. Simply put, motivation answers the question, why do I want to do this? While engagement reflects the tangible outcome of that motivation, answering, how involved is the student? In summary, motivation drives engagement, and engagement is a manifestation of motivation in action. Understanding the impact of culture and parent attitudes on motivation and engagement. To grasp how culture and parental attitudes influence motivation and engagement, it's beneficial to explore James Coleman's theory of family capital. He suggests that a child's educational achievement is not solely determined by individual abilities or the quality of their school. It also hinges on the resources accessible within the family and community. Coleman categorizes these resources into three types of capital: human capital, the knowledge, skills, and education of the parents; financial capital, which is the family's economic resources; social capital, which is the quality of relationships and networks among family members. Families with more resources in these areas are better equipped to support their children's educational endeavors. For instance, parents with greater resources may have more time to assist with homework or read to their children. They might also have the financial means to invest in educational tools like tutoring, art supplies, or books. Moreover, the close knit family networks can provide additional support, like childcare and enabling parents to participate more actively in their child's education. Coleman's framework further acknowledges the family's capital is intertwined with the culture and social context highlighted in how cultural pressures can shape a family's perception of the significance of education. I'd like to share several instructional strategies and learning activities grounded in research that can enhance students' engagement and elevate motivation. Renowned behavioralist B.F. Skinner's theory of operant conditioning teaches us that we can promote desired behaviors by rewarding those actions that lead to favorable outcomes. Skinner discovered that positive reinforcement, such as rewards and praise, tend to be more effective than punishment. In maximizing the impact of rewards, consider the following strategies. Targeted praise. First and foremost, ensure that your praise is specific. For instance, which approach do you think would be more effective in improving a student's handwriting? Giving them a gold star sticker on their paper, or circling the best letters and saying, "Wow, look at the great job you did on these letter G's. I can really tell that you took your time to make sure that they were perfect." The next is timely feedback. Make certain that your feedback is timely and immediate. Timely feedback is crucial for several reasons. It helps the child's brain form stronger neural pathways, linking newly learned information to a positive emotion, which enhances information retention. It also boosts the child's self esteem when they recognize that you cared enough to provide immediate rewards for their efforts. And it helps prevent the chance of forgetting to reward their efforts later on. There's nothing worse than recalling on your drive home that you promised a student a reward and then forgot to give it to them. Lastly, praise often. This practice fosters a classroom environment where students feel safe to answer questions, even if they make mistakes. Instead of criticism, they should receive encouragement for their bravery in participating. Corrections can be framed as compliments, such as, "I like that answer. It shows that you really thought through the question. However, I'm looking for something a bit more specific." Or, "Yes, you're on the right track, but let's see if another friend can help you connect the dots." Frequent praise allows you to catch positive behaviors in time to make a meaningful impact. Strategy 2: Opportunities for choice. Empowering students through ownership in their education. We must explore ways to enable our students to feel a sense of ownership in their education. B.F. Skinner also addressed this concept in his book Beyond Freedom and Dignity. This work emphasized that we are all influenced by the consequences of our own actions. However, motivation and engagement flourishes when we seek positive reinforcement through our own choices. Our classroom should be vibrant environments where students are enthusiastic about learning and excited to come to school to discover new ideas. Collaborative group projects present an excellent opportunity to foster student centered learning. For instance, when studying ancient Egypt, allow each group to select which aspect of ancient Egyptian life they would like to discover and present. Then provide them with options on how they would like to share their findings. Strategy 3: Edutainer. Motivating and engaging through excitement. The final strategy I wish to discuss focuses on how to inspire motivation and foster engagement through excitement. You might have heard that being a teacher involves being part entertainer and part educator. In other words, you become an edutainer. As an edutainer, you possess the ability to ignite the interest in various subjects while crafting enjoyable and captivated learning experiences. One of my favorite ways to infuse fun into the classroom is through a quiz show style game called Kahoots. This gamification of education taps into students' love for video games, making these learning platforms fun and exciting for students. Additionally, incorporating storytelling into your lessons can significantly amplify excitement. Another effective method to energize your lessons is by inviting special guests to share their unique insight on the subject matter. Despite teachers' best efforts at motivation and engagement, disengagement can creep in. So it's good to know the signs of disengagement. Students may not want to participate in class. Maybe poor attendance, frequent tardiness can also be a sign. Minimal interest in assignments and tasks might creep in. Distracted behavior and incomplete effort. They may also show negative attitudes towards learning. These signs suggest that students may be erecting barriers to their learning. Disengagement often arises from factors such as boredom with the content, disinterest in the subject matter, perception that the content is irrelevant to their lives, belief that the subject is too difficult to learn and understand. Disengagement may be influenced by external circumstances as well, such as a challenging home life, lack of sleep, or proper nutrition. These stressors can hinder a student's ability to engage in the lessons. By recognizing these indicators early, educators can address the underlying causes and promote re engagement through more meaningful, relevant, and supportive learning experiences. Now, let's look at some strategies for re engagement. There are various strategies to re engage students that I'd like to discuss with you. For instance, consider two types of students: one who finds the material unchallenging, and the other one who may be um, finding it too hard to understand. A highly effective way to re engage both students at the same time is through scaffolding. The term scaffolding originated from psychologist Levi Vygotsky, who introduced the concept of the zone of proximal development. This zone represents the range of tasks a child can perform with the assistance, but not yet accomplishing the task completely. Instructional scaffolding teaches to ground strategies that the learner can use to achieve progress when supported by someone with more advanced skills or knowledge. By allowing the advanced student to demonstrate the concept to their peer, you can foster re-engagement between both students. Additionally, sleep and food insecurity are often overlooked factors that contribute to students' disengagement. These issues can undermine a student's ability to concentrate, retain information, and succeed academically. Research shows that hunger and te- tiredness tend to make the students perform weakly on tests, exhibit more behaviors that are problematic and hinder, and have higher rates of absenteeism. To help re-engage these students, teachers can assist them in meeting their essential needs. It's beneficial to discuss your concerns with the administration in your school. Many schools keep snacks on hand to provide for students in need. For example, in one of my classes, there was a student whose parents had to leave the house at 5 a.m. to drop off the younger siblings to their grandmother's house, which was an hour and a half away before coming to school. This student was often tired in the mornings and disengaged, allowing him to rest for an hour in the quiet corner while we were working on morning tasks made a significant difference in this child's life. Thank you so much for joining us on our journey exploring motivation and engagement in the classroom. I would love to hear your insightful tips and tricks for keeping your students inspired and involved. Please share them in the comments below. And thanks once more. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.